Well, Mike Macdonald is off to Seattle, and the Baltimore Ravens have already found his replacement. Welcome in to this special breaking news edition of Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you as the Baltimore Ravens are promoting inside linebackers coach Zach Orr to be the signal caller for the Ravens defense as their new defensive coordinator. Let's tell you more about Zach Orr. He spent the last 2 seasons in the role as inside linebackers coach. Prior to that, he was in Jacksonville as the outside linebackers coach in 2021, and he's a name that Ravens fans should be very familiar with, as he played for the organization from 2014 to 2016, then became a defensive analyst from 2017 through 2020. So Zach Orr, very familiar with how the Ravens conduct their business, how they operate, being a part of this organization back in and out for around a decade now. So this is a hire, if you will, within the family for Baltimore. And I got to say, when you look at the hire here, I find it hard to argue this being a bad hire. And here's why. You look at his position group, who he was in charge of, the inside linebacker group. When you talk about Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen and all those guys there, they were arguably the best position group on this entire Baltimore Ravens roster this past year. The last 2 seasons, with what we've seen with Roquan Smith becoming maybe the best inside linebacker in all of football, and Patrick Queen turning into the Pro Bowl player that we all knew he was capable of becoming, that's credit to coaching. That's credit to the development. And Zach Orr was completely behind that. It's hard to hate this hire. Not to mention, the Ravens moving quickly on this, there was speculation that Zach Orr was going to be a candidate for Mike Macdonald to bring with him to Seattle, that if he didn't get this job now, that he could have likely left and been the Seattle Seahawks defensive coordinator. So credit to John Harbaugh and this Ravens staff for acting quickly, for promoting Zach Orr, for knowing the guy they wanted and moving quick to promote him to that role before he got taken away by Seattle. So I like it for this Baltimore Ravens team. To me, this is just an easy decision. What is your one-word reaction? My one word is easy. What is your one-word reaction to the Ravens giving Zach Orr the defensive coordinator job? Weigh in the comment section. Let me know what you think it is in our pinned comment today. Folks, this is why you subscribe. When we got the news, me and Big Tex, we got our resources together and try to put this video out as quickly as we can. We are covering your Baltimore Ravens all offseason long with the latest happenings in your favorite team, from trades to free agency to the draft and more. We got you covered, and over the next couple of weeks, we're really going to ramp up the draft content as well. Subscribe now if you love your Baltimore Ravens, want to know everything that's going on. Lock us in. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's take a moment to get to know Zach Orr a little bit. He is the son of former Washington tight end Terry Orr and comes from a pedigree of good football players. His siblings have all played football. He's got a brother that is in the UFL, which is the merged XFL and USFL league, so a good background on that front. He was born with a rare spinal condition, and so as he was going through his football playing days, he had to play through it, which was pretty fascinating, just the adversity that he went through in that front. Went to college at North Texas, was a member of the Mean Green, was undrafted in 2014, but still ended up in Baltimore and played a couple of seasons before he ultimately was forced to retire from football due to a neck condition. So it's an inspiring story for Zach Orr to think how far that he's come of dealing with these circumstances time and time again, from birth all the way up until now, of just never giving up. Even when the football career was cut short, found his way through coaching, and now he gets this opportunity. It's pretty exciting. And when you look at Zach Orr, not just the story of how he got here and what he's worked through, but the messaging that you hear directly from him. There's a video going around the interwebs, if you go to x.com right now, of a message that he had to this Ravens defense this year recently. And this is what he said. I love this from Zach Orr. In any war, you put your back to mine, I put my back to yours. Let's do what we got to do. That's what it is, bruh. It's us versus the world. I love that mentality from Zach Orr. He's going to bring that to this Ravens defense, and hopefully with the departure of Mike Macdonald that this group doesn't miss a beat. How would you grade the hiring of Zach Orr as the Baltimore Ravens' new defensive coordinator? I give it an A, unless we see otherwise. What do you think of the Ravens hiring Zach Orr? Let us know in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F on this move. One player that Zach Orr is going to get to coach up is Kyle Hamilton, coming off a terrific all-pro season where he was also a Pro Bowler and one of the best defensive players in football. And Kyle Hamilton is going to be leading this Ravens defense for a very long time, folks. And now is a great time to get some Kyle Hamilton gear on sale, whether it's the jersey or the shirtsy. We got all sorts of options for you. Get your Kyle Hamilton gear on sale now at chatsports.com/Kyle Hamilton. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. We have the options you're seeing on your screen, but plenty more as well. That's chatsports.com/Kyle Hamilton to get your Kyle Hamilton gear today. Now, there is a challenge ahead for Zach Orr as he takes over this Baltimore Ravens defense. First off, you have to try to replicate the success that the Baltimore Ravens defense put together in 2023, which resulted in the best defense in the National Football League. That alone, just replicating that, is easier said than done. And then it's also holding on to the talent. And you're going to lose some guys. How do you replace them and develop those guys? We'll get to that here in a second. Let's just start with the defensive statistics. Last year, the Ravens, as you can see, were top 10 in every major category. They were first in opponents' points per game, first in opponents' touchdowns per game. I mean, they did everything right defensively. And I've said all week, and I'll continue to reiterate, even when you look back this past week and that loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, it wasn't because of the defense. You held Patrick Mahomes and company to 17 points. The defense played good enough to win. So just trying to run it back with that defense is going to be a challenge in of itself. And then you look at the free agents that the Ravens have on defense. Patrick Queen, Justin Matabuke, Jadeveon Clowney, Ronald Darby. That's still going. We're not even halfway yet, folks. Geno Stone, Kyle Van Noy, Malik Harrison, Brent Urban. There's more. Arthur Mollett, Rock Ya-Sin, Darryl Worley, and Delshon Phillips. Now, some of these guys are more important than others, obviously. But that's a total of 12 defensive players that are going to be hitting free agency. And the Ravens are already kind of in salary cap hell at the moment because of the money that you've already dealt to Lamar Jackson as well as Roquan Smith. You can't keep everybody. And that's not Zach Orr's fault, obviously. But it's going to be a challenge for him to try to keep this defense at a championship level with all they're about to lose. That's the reality that he faces, the challenge that's ahead for him taking over this Ravens defense. For more Ravens coverage, we got you covered each and every day here on a Ravens Rundown. Appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time on the channel. Subscribe now for free.